lost all control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes in with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal Night Terrors. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. I'm here to keep you entertained, and if I'm doing my job, that's exactly what's going to happen here tonight. So hopefully we'll be on schedule and according to plan. Hope you guys had a good day. What the hell is it, Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. Oh my God, what day is it? Yeah, whatever day it is. Hope you had a good one, and welcome. I've been waiting for you guys here. I've been sitting here twiddling my fingers, waiting for the clock to finally hit 7. But here we are, and here I am, and here you are. And there you go. The phone lines will be open throughout the duration of tonight's show, as every other night. So if you have something paranormal that you'd like to share, something going on, or something you've experienced, or just some thoughts you have on the paranormal subject, feel free to call in 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. That is your passport to the portal, as it were. I don't know if that's true. But if you also have a paranormal occurrence or happening and you'd like to share it with the show, but you don't want to call in, you don't want to be on the air, it's not your thing, then that's fine. You can certainly do so, by emailing paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Again, paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. So there's all kinds of ways to stay in touch. I just want to put this out there because, I don't know, I've been hearing mumblings about another thing going on YouTube, and I don't know what the hell it means. I don't even know what's is exactly going on, but apparently that as of the 10th, which is today, there's supposedly a YouTube purge going on, and I don't know what that means, if it even means anything. I don't know what the hell's going on. I know the new terms of services on YouTube went into effect today. I don't know what they're actually saying. I haven't read through them all. So it may be something. It may be nothing, I don't know, but I would just like to say that if suddenly you should ever come on any night of the week at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you see, you go to your Paranormal Portal link, and it says there isn't one, make sure to check on YouTube, or not YouTube rather, but check on Facebook, facebook.com/paranormalportalradio. That's where I will make sure to make any announcements should anything like that happen. I have no idea why it would, or even if it will, if it can. I don't know. I'm just telling you that as far as any fallback or any information about the Paranormal Portal show itself, if there's any problems or anything for any reason that we would lose our channel, I can't even fathom the reason why, but I'm just saying, check out and make sure that you're following us on Facebook at facebook.com/paranormalportalradio, or make sure you're checking out the podcast, because if anything should happen to the channel, I would also make announcements over there on the podcast, which you can find on iTunes, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify, Stitcher, etc., etc., etc. So those are a couple of other options. So I would appreciate it that you wouldn't lose touch with us, that you can still find us someplace out there, and in the event that our YouTube channel would go down, we would be just live and streaming on another video platform. We already have placeholders on several of them, so we would just change our hosting service, I guess. Instead of YouTube, it may be BitChute. I would assume BitChute would probably be next on the popularity chart where we would head over, and we would hope that you guys would find us there. We already have several videos over there that are allegedly mirroring from this channel, so it's supposed to be updating our playlist over there as our playlist here updates. So if anything happens here, go over there, but make sure to check for us on Facebook or check for any announcements. If anything else should be determined in that event. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there as a public service announcement for the Paranormal Portal. Again, the phone lines are open. I'm here, you're here, and I guess that means it's time for bed. All right, guys, the portal is now fully underway. Night Terrors episode, Shadows in Move in the Corner, or whatever I called it. Shadows in the Corner, that's what it was. Got a little hair in my eye here. So, let's see. I got some stories pulled up for you guys, so I guess I should get to that. Hello to everybody that's piled into the chat room. More and more of you are coming all the time, so thank you guys for being here. Love you bunches. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you. Where you been? Haven't seen you for a long time. I saw your name pop up before, so good to see you back. And hello to everyone else that's come in. So much, Jake. How you doing, brother? Just talked to Adam today, and we got to get you guys on the show. Adam said you guys would be all for it, so we'll be in touch, and we'll get that figured out, ladies and gentlemen. Jake is one of the dynamic duo that is Blue Line Bigfoot, and they will be appearing on the show sometimes in the near future. So we're just going to nail that down and figure out when it is. Love you too, Sarah. And we'll get that sorted. So we'll be looking forward to getting that ironed out for you. And once we do, I'll be sure to let you guys know again where on Facebook. Your hot sheet for the Paranormal Portal. So we're going to get that all sorted out. But anyway, let's see. Let's see what's going on. Stories. That's it. Make sure to check out Bigfoot Odyssey tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. They have a marathon going on over there. Don and I are going to be making an appearance, so would love to see you on that platform as well. So check it out tomorrow. It's starting at like 3 Pacific. I know I'm going to be making an appearance early, and then Don's going to be joining me later on there. So we're going to be part of that as well. And we are going to be guests. Don and I are going to be guests on Truth Seekers podcast on Thursday morning. It'll be kind of bright and early for us. But if you are not already subscribed to Truth Seekers podcast, check it out. Or get subscribed to it, and then you'll be able to check out that episode when it goes live, which will be, I imagine, right after we record it on Thursday. So that's our upcoming appearances as I know them currently. Just recorded a podcast today, which will be airing tomorrow, and I talked to a gentleman named Chris from Nova Scotia, Canada, and he's had several encounters with Bigfoot up there, as well as some really wild paranormal stuff going on as far as spirits. So that'll be airing tomorrow. It'll be available as of midnight tonight on our podcasting platforms. So watch for that as well. Always something shaking going on. Jeez. I tell you what, I should be cloning, making clones of Don and myself so we could do even more. But lots going on, lots in development for the portal, and really exciting times. So let's get to some stories, because you didn't come here to listen to me flap my lips. Let's get to some entertainment. All right, the first story tonight comes out of Alabama, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a long one. We're going to start right off with a marathon story here from Alabama, ladies and gentlemen. So sit back and get a beverage and turn down the lights and enjoy yourself. All right, here we go. On July 26, 2008, I lost my dad really unexpectedly. He was only 75 years old and died in his sleep. The funeral was held August 1st in Texas, where he lived, and after his funeral, I came back home to Huntsville, Alabama. To make sense of what I am about to explain, I questioned my daddy's death because no autopsy was ever done, and the coroner based his final death determination on what my mom told detectives the night of his death. I also questioned comments and reactions made to me the night of his death and during the preparations for his funeral. The more I probed into finding out more info, the worse my visions appeared to me. I was very devastated by my dad's death and wanted to be alone on the eve of Saturday, August 3rd, so I decided to sit on my front porch. For a history of my house, my husband and I had built on 3 acres and have been living in it for over a year now. I've never experienced any spirits or visions prior to my dad's death before in that house. And as I was crying and staring out into the view, I decided to call my brother who lives in Florida to talk to him a bit. As I was talking to him, a blackish figure like an image of a person appeared to me by the entrance of my property, which is a good 500 feet from me, and disappeared within seconds. I felt an eerie feeling from this, and within seconds, a second blackish figure appeared in the same area, but only shorter than the first. I really had a scary feeling when I hung up with my brother. I went into the house to tell my husband what I just saw, and I explained to him that both were spirits and one seemed taller than the other. Well, my husband believed me and told me that it was more than likely I just saw ghosts, and I shook it off and really didn't think anything more about it. Well, a few days passed, and I was in the kitchen cooking dinner. My husband and daughter were at work, and my son was upstairs in his room, so I looked up into the next room, and I saw a black tainted figure run across the room and into my bedroom. I literally heard the pitter-patter of feet running across my wood floor, as well as the sound you would hear when walking on a crawl space. I froze and asked myself, what in the world was that? Well, my son likes to play tricks on me, so I called out his name, and when he didn't answer, I walked into my bedroom to see if he was hiding in there, and he wasn't. I walked upstairs, and my son was on the computer in the guest bedroom, and I asked him if he was just downstairs, and he said no. Well, I went back downstairs and finished dinner, and since my daddy passed, I dreamt about him every night, and in my dreams, I always called for him, but he never appeared. And I always seemed to wake up around the same time at about 3 a.m. One night I was dreaming about him and crying for him, and he appeared to me dressed like Lazarus was in the Bible. His body and head were wrapped with cloth, and I could see his ghostly face within the wraps, and when he smiled at me, I woke up and found my daddy leaning over me. And when I said "Daddy" out loud, he disappeared. Well, I looked at the clock on my nightstand, and it was 3:06 in the morning. I turned over to my side, smiled, and fell asleep. My dad's appearance was real to me, and it gave me comfort to see him. I also felt that he was letting me know that he was okay, and he's in heaven with God. I haven't dreamed of him since. About 2 days after seeing my dad, my girlfriend, who is a prophetess, came over to bless my house because I told her that I'd been seeing spirits and felt scared, especially at night, and that evening, a little after 10 p.m., I was sitting in my office, which sits next to my bedroom. My son was asleep, my daughter was at work, and by this time my husband had to leave on a business travel. And while working on the computer, I noticed a blackish figure to my left, and when I looked, it passed and went into my bedroom. I got chills all over, and within seconds, a second figure passed and also went into my bedroom, and it was the same two that I had seen out in the yard on August 3rd. I immediately said out loud, "Whatever you are, leave my house right now." Why I didn't say in the name of Jesus, I don't know. Well, I stayed up for a little while and decided to go to bed, and ever since I've had such experiences. I usually laid in bed and stare out the window because I was scared to go to sleep, and I could feel a negative presence, and I say negative because I know it wasn't my dad, and to make matters worse, my husband was out of town. And even though I knew there was a presence in my room, I tried to stay awake as much as I could. In the wake of Hurricane Gustav, my husband's family came from New Orleans, decided to stay with me and to get away from the storm. Well, I was so happy because I felt like my house would not be so quiet. And having more people in the house gave me a sense that the spirits would not reveal to me. When they arrived, I talked with my mother-in-law about my experiences, and she told me to continue to bind the spirits according to God's word, because demon spirits are real and will keep taunting me if I didn't. She also told me that this is the only way for the spirits to leave my house. Well, that evening, I hung out on the deck with my sister-in-law and talked a little about how I was feeling and how I was so scared to go to sleep. About midnight, I called it a night, and it was about 12:50 a.m., and I dreamt that my sister-in-law came into my room, and I asked her what she was doing, and she replied that she's going to sleep with me because of me being scared. Well, she got into my bed and hugged me like a man would hug his wife. I was laying on my side with my back to her, and she rested her left hand on my shoulder, and I told her that she could scoot over, and when she replied she doesn't want to, in a voice that was not hers, I turned over and saw that it was one of the spirits, and when I woke up, I had chills all over my body, and I literally felt a hand impression leave my shoulder. Well, this really freaked me out, and I felt a hand on my shoulder. I felt a weight of someone lying next to me. I immediately got up and opened my blinds to let in some moonlight. Since I was so scared and wanted to stay awake, I walked around my house a bit before I lay back down. As I lay back down, I kept telling myself to stay awake. I was really scared and felt a very strong presence in my room. Though I fought the feeling, I fell back to sleep. I then began dreaming that a spirit was on my left, laughing. A spirit was sitting on my chest while another spirit was standing by my bed, leaning over me. The spirit sitting on my chest was holding my mouth so I couldn't scream or breathe. I could feel real pressure over my mouth as I tried to scream, and I could also feel the reality of the situation when I fought to wake up. When I was able to wake myself up, I felt the impression of hands over my mouth and weight from two hands leave my mattress where the third spirit was standing, and I thought to myself, was there a third spirit? When I looked at my clock, it was a little after 3 a.m. This really freaked me out, and I called out to Jesus and demanded that the spirits leave my room and my house. I really could not fall back asleep because how scared I was, so I laid there until I saw daybreak set in. That morning, my family from New Orleans decided to head back home. After sleeping with my TV and light on for a few days, I finally asked my daughter if she'd sleep with me. She did for about a week until I was not so scared anymore, and I haven't seen any spirits since this occurred, and I haven't dreamt about my daddy, but at times I do feel a presence around me, and I get an eerie feeling. I quickly bind it in the name of Jesus, and when I do, I have some other experiences with ghosts in my past, but never have been through this before and never have been this scared. Some call it sleep paralysis. I call it spiritual warfare. These spirits taunted me for over a 4-week period, and I don't fully understand why. A friend of mine told me about a hag riding my back. Maybe these spirits are angry and don't want to leave my house after it was blessed, or maybe they were trying to keep me quiet on probing because of my daddy's death. I don't know the answer, but I'm just glad that when I call out on Jesus, I feel like they do leave. There you go. Gotta invoke some religion on them. And it just depends on your religion, which one you invoke. But if it's powerful to you, it will be powerful to the spirits as well. Great to see all you guys in here. It just warms my cockles. I don't even know what that means for sure, but it sounds totally inappropriate now that I said it. Sorry about that. I don't know what those are. I'm not sure what they are, but I feel warm. Oh, God. That's what you get, ladies and gentlemen, a microphone with no filter. So you get it as it pops into my head, and that can sometimes be a liability. Oh, my God. Yep, you're getting what you paid for, ladies and gentlemen, so enjoy it. It's a worthy investment. All right, so let's go to the next one. It's Ohio. This one's pretty short. It says, when I was little, I always felt that there were lots of ghosts around. I would feel them, but I wouldn't ever see them. I told people in my family, but they told me I was being silly. And even when the spirits would shake my bed to keep me awake, my parents would tell me, just go to sleep. I think after a long period of time, I blocked it out because only one person in my family believed me. About 10 years ago, I searched the history of my dad's family, who is an American Indian, and there's a lot of psychic abilities in my mom's side. Hearing that, I thought of doing a little rediscovery of the feelings I used to feel when I was little, with the spirits. Well, nothing happened, and I can say I was disappointed for a little while, but then I forgot about it. In 2004, my dad died, and that's when the turnabout happened. I feel him, hear him, and now it has opened up the floodgates. If I walk into a house or anywhere that a spirit occupies, I get the feeling in my gut and start to tremble from the inside out. It is then that I know that something is there. I even have experienced something sitting on my bed at times when no one else is home. I get that same feeling, the trembling, the knot in my stomach. I'd like to open up more and maybe communicate with them, not just feel that they are there. Any suggestions on how I can do this? Or even if I should. Ooh, it's going to make other people responsible for your choices. Oh, nice. How nice. Okay, here's the thing. If you want to talk to spirits, you're welcome to do so. The biggest thing, I think, as I understand it, is to meditate. That's the biggest way to create that awareness or that focus that you need to have those conversations. Got to learn how to meditate. If you don't know, just start figuring that out. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube that'll tell you exactly that, how to meditate. How do I meditate? And, you can just work on it. And you're never just going to sit down and just be, I'm meditating. You will be, but it may not be an incredible spiritual experience for a while because, you're working into something. You're working into an awareness that you don't currently have. So that requires quite a lot of opening up and clearing of the busyness that goes on in our minds at all times. So that would be probably the best start. But don't ever ask anybody if you should. That's just horrible. Don't give people that don't give them that power and don't give them that responsibility. If you choose to do it, then you choose to do it and own it. If you don't choose to do it, don't do it. Don't let other people choose for you. That's silly and that's childish to say, well, should I talk to the spirits? Well, who the hell knows? Really, who knows? If you feel so spiritually moved to do so, then do so. If you don't, then don't. If you're nervous about it, then don't. It's kind of one of those things you should be pretty sure of before you start opening those doors, because if you're not quite prepared for what's on the other side or what could be on the other side, you could be in for a long, disturbing journey. So don't leave it up to anyone else. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. All right, this one's coming from Colorado, and this one's a little bit longer. Not horribly, though. It was in the summer of the year 2000, and it was July 1st. My dad's granddaughters were playing in their room. Wouldn't that be your nieces and nephews? All of a sudden, they came downstairs screaming and crying and saying there was a man on a bike in the mirror. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said that there was a man on a bike in the mirror, and I went to check it out. When we got to my room, they didn't want to go in, so I went in to look, and sure enough, I saw a man, a bike, in my mirror, and I told the girls to go downstairs. I couldn't believe my eyes, so I turned and looked again, but it was gone. As I started to walk out, something made me turn around again, and when I did, I saw my uncle walking, and he looked so real, except as he walked, the backside of him was fading. And he sat on my bed and said, Sammy Joe, come here. I need to tell you something really important. Well, by that point, I was in my closet and I couldn't move. I just kept telling my uncle, who I was really close to when he was alive, to just go away. And he said, I need to tell you something important that's going to happen. I said, no, go away. And he said, fine. I love you, Sammy. And then he disappeared. When I was able to move, tears were running down my face, and I went to my brother And I told him I just seen Uncle Joey, but my brother didn't believe me. I told my mom when she got home, and she was concerned, but she said that I was just missing him, so I must have imagined it. Oh, man. 3 days later, on the 4th of July, we went to a barbecue. While we're waiting for the food, my cousins and brothers and nieces went to the woods. And it was pretty far when we got to this canal, and I stopped because I was feeling dizzy. Well, I drank some water, and when we were on our way once again, I started getting dizzy, so we stopped at this other canal, and I drank some more water and left again. We were pretty far into these woods when I got really dizzy and sick by the third canal. And at that point, I had noticed that I was only getting sick at the canals, so we left and went back to my cousin's house. When we got back, it was time to eat, and I was feeling fine and normal again. My dad got this phone call. He didn't say much. And then he hung up and looked at my mom and said, "Let's go inside." And Mom said, "No, what is it?" My dad said, "Let's go inside." And she said, "Just tell me what's the matter." He looked at her and said, "I'm sorry, but your dad died." My mom took off crying and everyone was silent. I went to the front and my dad was hugging my mom, and I asked, "How did my grandpa die?" And he just looked at me and said he had a heart attack and drowned in a canal. At that point, I was freaking out and went to sit with my brother. I told him how our grandpa died, and he was shocked. I said, "It's weird that 3 days ago Uncle Joey came to see me to tell me something important, and I didn't listen. It's weird how I kept getting sick at all those canals where we were both absolutely freaked out." Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that's creepy. It is. Little premonitions, I guess, forebodings. Maybe Uncle Joey was making her sick. Maybe the psychic energy of it was making her sick. Hard to know for sure. But the next one is coming from Pennsylvania, ladies and gentlemen, and this says, when I was about 9 or 10 years old, my family would go up to our friend's house on a farm, and we would be there all day and wouldn't leave until 11 or 12 at night. God, they're company from hell, aren't they? Just go home, people. Don't you love those people that come over for a visit and they just never go home until it's really, really late? Anyway. A lot of the time, we 4 kids would play in the hay barn next to the house, and we'd be in there all day just jumping and climbing on the hay bales. And the barn was built onto a hill, and the top part of this was the hay barn, and under the floor was the cow shelter for when the cows came in from the pasture. And the only way into the barn was from the front doors, and there was a window facing towards the house built at the very top of the barn. Even when the hay was stacked to its fullest, it never reached anywhere near the window. There was no electricity in the top part of the barn, so the only light we had to play with was by the sunlight. One night we were playing outside in the backyard that faced the barn, and our parents were in the house, and for some reason I looked up at the window in the barn, and there was a head of a man with dark hair watching us kids play. I told the others to look at the window, and they saw the head too. And all 4 of us just stared at the window for a couple of minutes and then started talking to each other. And when we looked back up at the window, the face was gone. But there was a glow in the barn, like a candle or something was lit. We knew that there was no one in the barn because our parents were in the house. We knew no one would be able to look out that window because we were in the barn earlier that day and there was not enough hay in the barn to even begin to stack it up to the window. My friend Linda and her brother then told my brother and I about her uncle that hung himself in the barn when he was in his late 20s. They said he would go in the barn late at night, look at dirty magazines by candlelight, and one morning was found hanging by the rafter. He was depressed because his girlfriend had just broken up with him, and he took his own life. We never saw the face again, but sometimes we would see the glow through the window. Huh. John says, yeah, I'm one of them. I always outstay my welcome. Also, if I'm feeling naughty, I might leave their toilet seat up as well. Well, John, I can't imagine they wouldn't invite you over all the time. It's one of those, oh God, John's coming again. Oh, get out the cheap toilet paper. Get out the rough stuff. Oh, that's funny. I think, everybody knows somebody like that, though. The ones that just, they come and they just don't ever go home. It's like, oh my God, there comes a point when you just leave. Like if it's after the dessert, then go. That's about it. That's all there is. Oh, some people just like to hang out for a lot longer. And that's sweet. I suppose it's, it really is sweet, but it's just one of those things that when it's happening and you're tired and you've already been entertaining people for a long time, all you can think about is, my God, go home. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It could be. I'm not a very good host, I don't think. All right, we're going to Florida, ladies and gentlemen. This one's really short. This happened a couple of times. My mom had a pink bracelet that had some very pretty glass beads. My sister took it and pulled it, and the string snapped, and the beads flew everywhere. My dad looked all over the floor as my mom counted the beads, but she was missing one. My dad and I checked up around and under the bed, and about 20 minutes later, my dad walked into the kitchen and said he found the bead under the bed, balanced on its side. About a week later, my brother's game case went missing. My dad checked under the bed, and later he checked again. It was under the same bed, in the same place, and the same room as the bead. Well, that happened to the gaming case twice. Then my mom's hairbrush went missing for about a month, and it was in the same place as the gaming case and the bead. Why our ghost likes to take our stuff and put it under the bed, we will never know. I've noticed that it has not taken any of my stuff and put it under the bed. Any advice or ideas? I don't know. I guess if you're missing something, go look under the bed. That's all I got. I don't know. It's hard to know. Is that a childlike spirit then? The old, I like this. I'm going to look at it under the bed. That's my safe space. I don't know. Maybe. Hard to say for sure. Let's see how much time has gone by. I imagine we're about the half-hour mark. Yeah, we are. I'm getting good at this. I can almost tell how much time has gone by. Huh. Sorry, I'm getting really chapped. Sorry. Again, the phone lines are open if anybody wants to call in. 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. So let's get to the next one, and this one's coming from Michigan, ladies and gentlemen. A grand old state of Michigan. I spent a lot of time there with family when I was younger. Had a good time. A lot of good memories in Michigan. All right, so let's see what's going on in Michigan in this story. Again, another shorter one. So it says, this was some years back when I was in middle school. My mom, brother, and I lived in with my mom's boyfriend, and he told us about his previous wife had passed in the house. It was later before I experienced anything, and I pretty much had forgotten about him telling us. One day we're all in my brother's baseball game, and I left early because I just didn't feel good, and we lived down the street from the park. But that doesn't really matter. So I was at home alone, feeling real sick, and I was at the dining room table with my head down, and I heard something, but I ignored it. 5 minutes later, I hear a female's voice call my name. At the same time, I suddenly wasn't sick, but my left ear felt like it was on fire for about 3 minutes. I looked around, and no one was there. The next night, I was in my room with my door open, and I heard someone walking around, and the next minute, I saw a glow out of the corner of my eye, and I looked and saw the wife that had passed. I've seen a picture of her, so I knew what she looked like. I closed my eyes, and when I opened them, she was gone. The next day, I tried to tell everyone that I saw her, but nobody believed me. I've seen her a couple times after that, but I kept it to myself. Ever since, I've been into a lot of the paranormal stuff. Well, there you go. I suppose, when you see something like that, it's kind of like the Bigfoot stuff, right? So if you're not really into the paranormal and then you have such a profound sighting, I guess it's gonna probably spur some interest in the subject. But, the sad part is, again, and this is one that I always will have problems with, and it's I don't know that there's an easy answer because I understand what the parents are doing, and I say it a lot on the show. But if your kid tells you they see something, listen to them. Listen to them. Give them a sympathetic ear, even if it's inconvenient. Give them the ability to talk about it because, and I'm sure it's the parents just being like, oh, I don't want them to worry about such things. It was nothing. You didn't see it. It was just a dream. It's just your imagination because parents are trying to assuage those fears and make their child go, back to bed or whatever. But so the part I have problem with is that, okay, your kid, and in this case, it's an older kid, so not so much this one, but if you got a younger child, like say a 7, 8-year-old, they're in their bedroom and the closet door opens and they can see the shadowy, creepy figure coming out at them in their bed. Well, it scares the hell out of them, of course. I mean, it would scare the hell out of any of us. So the kid in an absolute state of panic and shock, goes flying to the parents and says, "This is what I'm seeing." And then the parents get agitated because they're probably tired and granted, probably deservedly so, but they go, "You just had a bad dream, get back to bed." So now you've taken a child that's already in a state of panic and fear. You've told them that they're full of crap, and then you're sending them right back to where they're terrified of anyway. And now this child is alone. This child has nobody it can talk to because the people that mean the most, the parents, aren't willing to listen. And I can't imagine how damaging that is to a child's spirit, a child's belief in their parents and that heart and that love, and to be just discarded and sent back to what they're afraid of. And it becomes this battle for the child. It's like, I'm terrified of going in there because I saw what was there, but I'm terrified of making my parents angry because I don't want them to be mad at me. So you have this child that's just tormented 2 different ways. And what are they going to do? So they're in a real bad place. So please listen to your children. Please listen to them. Help them understand. If you don't believe in this kind of stuff, at least listen to what they're seeing. Try to give them real explanations, not it's your imagination or you just dreamed it, because obviously it's real to them. The whatever they experienced was very real to them. So have a talk with them and let them talk about it and give them a sympathetic ear, because I just can't imagine how damaging that is to a young mind. These gentle little people, they need help, and that's what they come to you for. So help them. Just my 2 cents. Again, you're getting all kinds of change tonight. But cool story. This one is coming from Oregon. It says, I'd have to say that this is my most favorite experience that I've ever had in my life. We're off to a good start. That's a good start. When I was 8 years old, my grandpa died from heart failure one day after we got home to California. And I was really upset because my grandpa was gone. He was the only grandpa that I knew, and we had to go back to throw his ashes over a bridge. And we were all really depressed, especially my mom. And we went to some kind of bridge, and they were getting ready, and my 2 uncles got out my grandpa's ashes and threw them over the bridge. And as I watching the ashes go down, to my surprise, they started to form the shape of my grandpa, only to a larger size. And I was excited, but was weirded out a little since it was my first experience. 2 years later, I asked my mom about my grandpa's ashes forming the shape of him and if she saw it too, and she said yes. So I was happy. I wasn't the only one that saw it. And when the experience happened, I felt like I was going crazy over his death, but luckily I wasn't. I'm still sad though, but I'm happy that he doesn't have to suffer from his heart attack anymore. If someone can tell me what it was, then that would be great. I felt like he was saying goodbye for the last time, and I don't know though. What do you think? I think you got to go with your feelings. That's the part that really surprises me with these posting sites, is all these people that are, putting it out there. Please fill in my blanks for me. Please tell me. And here's the bottom line: nobody knows. Nobody knows. People have ideas. People have theories. People have their own understandings, but they can't tell you what your experience is or isn't. I mean, paranormal experiences are very personal, I think, and they happen to us for whatever reasons. Maybe there's something we need to see. Maybe we need to get shook out of our paradigm. Maybe we need to wake up from our slumber or whatever in life. Maybe we need to understand. Maybe we need more faith. Maybe we need more belief. Whatever the reasons we have these experiences, then own them. Take them and own them and figure out that meaning. Make it yours. Sometimes it's just to freak you out. But sometimes it could be a hell of a lot more profound if you just take a moment and look at what is going on. So, for instance, on the podcast, I interviewed a gentleman who one part of their story was they have this house and they live in a pretty haunted area, and they've had a lifetime of experiences in this area. And he said that he was hanging up pictures on his wall, and he had inherited this one picture that had been handed down through his family for several generations. And he said no matter what he did, he would hang that picture on the wall, come back, and it would be down on the floor. It would be pulled out of the wall. Apparently the nail and everything, it would just be pulled out of the wall. He rehung the picture several times, and every time the picture was pulled out of the wall. And the last time, he said his wife and young child were getting freaked out, so she took the hammer and the child and went to the bedroom and shut the door and kind of barricaded herself in there because it was freaking her out. And the husband went out to the garage to get something, came back. Picture wasn't on the wall, and it wasn't on the floor, and it was missing. So he's looking around, and he finds the picture in the child's room leaning up against the bed. So he goes and asks his wife, why did you move that into the bedroom? And she said that she didn't. And so all this weird activity, but only over one picture. All the other pictures were left alone. Everything else was left alone but one picture. And I asked him what was depicted in the picture. And he said that it was just this old print of like a Native American tribe, First Nations tribe that was really old. And I was like, oh. And then I asked him if there's any history of violence against the First Nations in that area. And then he had thought that perhaps it was a ghost that had followed him home from a whole different place. But once I asked him that, he went, oh, you know what? I can tell you for sure that there was a trial back in the 1800s of there was like 3 or 4 guys that were heavily armed and went to a First Nations encampment that was in that area and lit it up and just killed men, women, children, everybody. Well, they got busted and got hanged. And so I said, well, you might have one of those guys in your house. And it seemed to resonate with him that maybe that's what it was, because it wasn't any of the other pictures. All the other pictures were left alone. But for some reason, that spirit would not let that picture remain on the wall. And so it was something about that picture that was representative to that spirit in anger. Oh, thank you, Sarah. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Heroes. That's sweet, but that's a whole lot of praise, girl. But I appreciate it. I hope I live up to that. It's not easy. No, I thank you so much, Sarah. That's really sweet. Love you bunches. Thanks a bunch. But you got to look at what's happening in these situations, because I think that a lot of times the activity is largely symbolic. That spirits can't just go, hey, what are you hanging that picture up for? Don't you know how that offends me? They can't tell you that. So they will tell you what they want you to know through their actions. So pay attention. If it's a specific object, what is the object? If it's a specific area of the house, what is the area of the house? What could have happened in there? Is there a history? I mean, there's so many things to look at, but just look at ghostly experiences as potentially being very symbolic. And it can sometimes help you glean some more information into what's going on actually, or who's doing it. And that can also help you in figuring out how to get rid of them. So just some thoughts, but oh my God, I got some calls. Wow, when did that happen? So let's get to the first one. And this is area code 530. You're on the air.
I'm sorry, Brent. It's me, Sage.
Why do you apologize every time you call me? That's why I have phone calls.
Because I don't know if you want to hear from me or not.
Use your intuition.
I have so much going on in my life. And so I sent an email to Duke, and then I was sitting on it, and then I had so much profoundness come in, and then finally I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And and then you started talking about all this, and I was like, yes, I have to do this because
Okay.
this is right up everything that has been answering, because that's what you're doing is for as far as I can remember in my existence in this life, I've been questioning being a minister daughter. That's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And a very sheltered minister daughter, a missionary daughter, and I've been questioning all of it because I remember being a Palladian. That's what I remember.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I remember being a Palladian. I remember seeing and being taken. I remember being in night school. And from there, other things have occurred and have never stopped. And everything is intertwined. But I'm terminal.
Yeah.
And I'm at this point where I'm 1 foot very close to leaving all of you.
Oh, that's tough. I'm so sorry.
And I'm very okay with it in a way where I get to go home.
Yeah.
And because I got to see it, and because they insure me, and they've been insuring me, and it's been increasing. The unconditional love is so abundant, and we are not alone in any way. We're not.
Sure. Well, I believe that.
So all of these questions are refreshing to me on the times where I feel all of the heartbreak and sadness across the world, even when I don't know what's going on, even when I don't know that an earthquake has happened or a tsunami has happened or some war or anything, and I'm crying in a hallway because I'm feeling that suffering.
Yeah. I understand.
And this has all started to occur after my brain surgery.
It really opened up a lot, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, however long your journey is, I just want to thank you for being a part of ours.
So what me and someone else have realized is that we need to come in and share what we have when it's important to share. And, I know it's a lot of fun to play in the chat, and it's so refreshing to be able to be around people that you're able to, because in a daily life, you're not able to be yourself.
Yeah.
And I absolutely understand that, and I appreciate that. And this is an amazing family that we were able to accomplish, and it's something that we were all able to accomplish and get here, and it's going to grow, and it's something that we might have to consider moving and keep in contact with further on down the line, which I have seen. And I know that some of the things I say are somewhat outlandish, and I just want to say that I feel like it's because I do tend to go in between because I am so sick.
Sure.
And I've embraced it so positively.
Oh, good.
And I'm so enlightened and so positive with such unconditional love. And I'm so happy and so privileged with Cha-Cha's sarcasm,
Sure.
and Monsters follow-up, and Duke making sure that everybody is okay, and Beth's sweetness, and Elaine and Nessie's soul richness, and Rill's guidance, and Deborah's guidance, and you have Cameron's beautiful soul, and you have you and Dawn that have no idea that you're leaders, but you do, and you are. And you guys have such, and I know I'm leaving out a lot of people, but that's just a very small amount of just your family that you have.
Mm-hmm.
You have Cam and Elaine, and you have Jake, and you have so many people that are so important to this family.
Mm-hmm.
And even SoCal, even if they aren't even aware of how important they are very important to the people that they're not aware that they're imprinting.
Yeah.
And I feel that it's important for them to realize that when they sign off, that other people are still thinking about them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got this amazing cocoon of wonderful people, that's for sure. And I'm absolutely honored to know you as well.
Oh, thank you so much. I send you these like random emails, and I'm like, I don't know if you think I'm a crazy weirdo or not, but it's just my kind of weird downloads that I get, and flashbacks. And when you come to the end, you start closing up your chapters and understanding even the unsaid words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
So you start even understanding the generational connections
Yeah.
of even the things that you weren't even aware that you were a part of.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
So I'm more than happy to help anyone with anything. I'm only with the love and light. I don't deal with anything dark. I don't really know anything that I haven't dealt with. I have not dealt with any group. I haven't dealt with any mentor, but the guides and guidances and the higher powers that have sent me that have made sure that I've survived. And after they have departed this life, then I am, and now am aware that they are still with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So I'm sure you can kind of relate to that with your father.
Yeah. Yeah, I can. I believe I can anyway. I mean, of course, there's a lot more questions than answers, but I think that each spark of light that comes in, I think I learned something new from, and it adds to the puzzles. But yeah, I've still got way more questions than answers. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I really think that the more we stop making it as convoluted in this world, and calmer mind,
Mm-hmm.
and take that ego out, and stop the pestering, and stop but we did this and I did this, and all that egotistical shit, that doesn't need to be there, because
Yeah.
they're not doing that to us.
Right.
they're backing us up and supporting us, and they're like our number one cheerleaders. They want us to succeed, and they're throwing everything positive out at us to back us up. And I mean, I have so much energy behind me when I start talking about this. I don't know if you can hear it, but I don't know how to like contain it. It like overflows because I can feel other people in the chat. I can feel you. I can, so my ears start popping, and because it's such an important message, because the negativity gets so distorted, and this message is something that is not heard, and it's important to be heard. There's a wave of us that have chosen to go through pain, so we can understand and identify through what others identify. And there's multiple waves of us that have gone through multiple, certain waves. So we can all identify, if you look into star seeds. So we can understand and integrate. It is not a part of AI, but it is a part of us being able to help humanity be able to hit the evolution that they need to be able to not fall like Atlantis fell in the egotistical way, so where AI doesn't take them. And it's really important to be able to look back into history and not allow them to be able to wipe that away.
Right.
And so that's a really strong message that I just felt like I needed to share. I'm sorry that I'm rambling.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have time, and then other times I just forget. And I really appreciate your patience, and I really appreciate the chat's patience with me, because I do understand that I'm very different than most people.
You fit in well here.
Thank you.
We're all pretty different.
Without feedback, I'm a very sensitive being. So I'm extremely sensitive to any and all of the actually, I have them all tattooed, all 6 of them tattooed on my body. All earth, air, wind, fire, spirit, and I have another one. But yeah, so I'm very in tuned, and I had no idea how in tuned I was with them until after I came out of my brain surgery. The serenity, when you go back from a near-death experience and you come here and you see the evil, is a very, it's not the same as like a post-traumatic or it's so different than that, because you see the potential in others, and you're aware that they can do better.
Yeah.
And it's saddening.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate that we live in such a worldly vision, and we're not worldly creatures. We're just manifest here, and so it's people like yourself that maybe help us to remember that. So thank you for those messages when you get them.
I'm not the only one. I know you at least have 2 other in your group. You're going to have more, and it's just the start. And I really want to appreciate and thank you for allowing us to be able to come to you.
Oh,
so
sure.
that we can be who we are,
Mm-hmm.
and that we are not judged, and that we can talk about our lives,
Yeah.
and that we don't have to hide, and we can talk about our experiences,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not A to B. They're everything,
Right. Yeah.
and we accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just something that it is, and it's just something that it has been, and how it's always has been. If somebody near me wants to contact me and camp out, I'm more than happy to have fun. It's just something that has always been and has always will be at my house.
Oh, well, you've been a blessing to us, Sage, and thank you so much for all your love and kindness
I
and warmth. It's been an amazing journey knowing you, and keep the emails coming for as long as you can. I love reading them.
Oh, well, thank you. I had one really big, profound message that came through that I really wanted people to think about, and it happened to me with my best friend.
Okay.
So I had a UFO experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to get into it, but afterwards, we didn't talk about it. And I was listening to somebody, and I found out that after big, profound paranormal experiences, it's known and has been documented not to be talked about, even if it's seen with multiple people,
Mm-hmm.
that they just go about their day afterwards. And they can go years without talking about it. They acknowledge it, they can bring it up, but they don't go into depth with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that's something that maybe somebody, or we should, or you know, the collective maybe should look into and think about. And because it hit a chord with me, it hit a chord with the other person I talked to, and it seems like it is a definite, thing that it's just something that it just goes away. But it's a profound thing that happens with more than one person,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something that just they don't talk about.
Sure.
But we take pictures of our food. And if you think about it and really start thinking about it, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. But there's a lot going on right now that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But maybe that's part of the journey is just to learn to cut through all the crap and remember the core of it all and what's really important. We get lost in our illusions so
Right.
easily. Our illusions are just overwhelming here, and we get lost in them. And I think the more we remember, the more people that are helping us to remember, the further along we'll get.
But I think the most important thing is that we should remember, and that we need to remember what's going on now and not what was going on then.
Yeah. Yeah. People have a tendency to either live in their past or live in their futures. They're not so good at right now. And it would probably help out a bunch if we were. So who knows? Maybe we'll get there.
Well, I'm so sorry for taking your time. I felt like it was really important to tell you that. I'm sorry if I bored your chat. I hope that helped someone. And I'm sending love and joy to everybody for this holiday. And I love you all. And you guys have all imprinted on me. And I will never forget any of you.
We love you too. And thank you. Feel free to call in anytime and quit apologizing. Just call me and talk.
Thank you so much, friend.
All right, sweetheart. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Okay. All right, we got one more call here too, and I want to get to this. This is area code 916. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Duke there. Hey, Duke. Long time no talk. We were just talking about that.
Who is this, by the
As
way?
far as Sage, love you, babe. That touched my heart. But what was that?
Who am I talking to right now? Who is this?
My name is David.
David?
My name is David.
Oh, okay. Welcome to the show, David.
Yeah, thank you. I'm calling from Elmira, New York.
Oh.
I was calling because I just had a story that happened to me. It was in Carmichael, California, because I'm from Sacramento, California. Carmichael's like a suburb of Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, my girlfriend and I, we were coming back from whatever we were doing. We walk into our house we were living in, and we walk in there, and my girlfriend, we were living with a roommate, and actually the landlord roommate. And she just said, "Hey, honey, I'm home." And I looked to the left down the hallway where our room is, and I see somebody walking from our bedroom back to the guest bedroom.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, "Oh, wow, man, there's someone here," And so we go. I said, "There's somebody here." So we go back, and I heard the door shut, and so she wanted to go back and open the door. I'm like, knock first. So we knock first. Open the door. There's nobody in there. Basically, it was the first time I ever saw a full-bodied apparition, and
wow.
It tripped me the hell out. There was no way they could have gotten out because there were stationary half-moon windows.
Wow.
I looked in the closet. Yeah, it was a trip. And our roommate, landlord Tony, said that he had seen people like walking towards his bed at night and then just vanishing.
Oh, no, that's not good.
So
that's bad. Usually.
Yeah, no. Could you imagine?
No, not at all. I don't want to. That's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So how about you?
Yeah.
Did you ever see anything else, or was it just this one-off deal for you?
Well, that one thing, I mean, it was like maybe a 5 foot tall. It looked like a Native American or Hispanic, and wearing like boxer briefs, maybe. But that was it. It was just like, I could see, the skin. It looked like you or me or anybody. It looked like it wasn't see through or anything.
Wow.
But other than that, there was a lot of weird things that happened that I've seen. That was the first thing that I ever saw, like a full-bodied. So there was another time where I saw a bag of Oreos get lifted up and moved like a foot or two and then dropped. I mean, some weird stuff. But that one where when I saw that person walk into the back room, and she didn't see it. She's like, "No, there's nobody back there." I'm like, "God, man, there's someone back there. I just saw it."
Wow.
That tripped me out. And so I guess Tony is his name. I don't mind dropping names. It's not a big deal.
Sure.
So our next door neighbors had these, they were part of, I guess you can call them the Taps family members or something, the Sacramento Paranormal
Sure. Yep.
Investigators, STI, I think it was. Yep. They actually went and did a investigation.
Okay.
And they said there was a lot of activity that night. There was a little girl. There was another guy. I don't know the extreme details, but it had something to do with like the first person that lived there that happened to be Hispanic.
Wow.
So
that's powerful.
Yeah, I guess I saw him.
That's really cool. I mean, in a sense, it's cool. In a sense, it's also creepy as hell. But it's pretty amazing to see
scary.
A full apparition, though. I mean, that's so rare.
Yeah, and those things happen.
Yeah.
I guess when you don't expect it, it's like something that just shocks you.
Yeah.
If you're looking for it, I don't think it really happens.
Right.
But it's like it's something that always catches you off guard.
Yeah, I think that actually seeing things like that, I like it. I liken it to capturing lightning in a bottle. It's just about as rare. It's like When it happens, and you can't encourage it or take it away or do anything. You just got to be in the right place at the right time. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And the feeling that you get from that is like, wow, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard to explain the feeling you get from that. You know, it's startling. It's scary, startling. It takes a minute to realize what happened, and then once it hits you, it's like, wow, man. You know. Oh,
yeah, for sure, brother. That's really cool.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. I just wanted to say that. Love your show. Just got into it a little while ago.
Oh, cool.
And I listen to it like every night as I'm going to sleep.
Oh, very
And
cool.
I can't usually get to sleep. You know, because it's like I'll be listening, and that's when I'm pulling my feet off the edge of the bed, and my arms, my hands, you know?
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. No, that's cool.
No, it's good, man. That's why I dig it. That's why I listen to it. But right, you're in Pennsylvania, right?
No, I'm in the north tip of Idaho, so I'm like way up on the top of Idaho.
Oh.
Yeah. Way up here.
Oh, I don't know why I thought you were in Pennsylvania, but
Nope.
okay.
We're up here though. But yeah, there's plenty of Bigfoot stuff up here, but seems to be plenty of a lot of other stuff up here too. It's a pretty cool area. But yeah, brother, it's really cool meeting you. Thanks, Dave, for calling in and being a part of the show. I appreciate that a bunch.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you and what you do. And one last shout out, I got to say to Mongolian, because he's or she, I don't know which is which, but
Mogayan?
whether it's a guy or a girl, but gave me the number when I asked for it on chat.
Oh,
so,
yeah. He's a great guy. He's one of our mods, but great guy. Mogayan is how you say it. Mogayan. Yeah. It's
Mogayan. I thought, my eyes are bad. Mongolian. Okay.
That's okay. I butchered the hell out of that first when I met it too. But it's another word for Bigfoot. Cool. It's another word for Bigfoot from down in Arizona, just so you know.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't either.
Good. Now I know.
All right, brother. Have a great night.
Right on, guys.
Take care, brother, and have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Okay,
you too, buddy. Thank you.
Oh, that's neat. It's good to meet a new listener. I like it when you guys call in, share the love. So I think we went a little bit over tonight, but that's okay with me. I wouldn't change a thing. I love it when you guys are part of the show and when you contribute and take part, and I'll stay just as long as you guys keep calling in. So that is not to be abused, though, mind you. I don't want people chain calling in and making up these agreements. Okay, I'm going to call in 10 minutes after. You guys keep me here all night, but I love you all. That's about it for tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all the new listeners that are coming in and being a part of the show. And it's a pleasure to see some new names in the chat. Thank you guys. I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Love you guys. Have a great night and sweet dreams.